Something to scream about. Something to scream about.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Cam, for that intro. Welcome to Something to Scream About.
I don't think you were recording.
Well, I am, and I got it. I think I might have missed the actual intro of it, the word S,
I don't
or the
have
word
any
S,
other
letter S.
sort
But
of
we
voice.
got here. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode 16. This is exciting because we have two brand new faces live with us on the couch.
If you look to the right or to your left, you will see.
If you look between us,
Yeah.
you will see
Read
two
between
new
the
faces.
lines.
Read between the
Bitch.
lines. We have two new members joining us here with Distorted Views, and we're super excited to intro them both and welcome them to be a part of the project. And today we're going to go through and basically chat to them, find out who they are, what they are, and where they came from. And
I hope they're normal.
sorry, yeah, earlier joke. Sorry,
It's very impromptu. So no scripting going on.
Yeah,
here,
there's
ladies and
absolutely no
gents.
scripting. I do have a topic that I will be diving into, which everybody knows who's listening because they can read the title, but you guys don't know.
I don't even know.
Well, we're talking about mentors. So yeah, we'll go into that in a bit. But
Just
first of
'cause
all,
you got a mentor now. Now he's all about mentors.
well, it's a current topic. It's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Topic.
So
So
we're talking. Yeah. So
Who wants to go first?
yeah, who does want to go first?
I don't mind.
All right,
All right.
Matt, first cab off the rank.
Matthew Vincent, everybody.
Matthew Vincent, who is joining us on guitars. First up, Matty, give us a little bit about yourself. You know, you're playing guitar now. Have you always played guitar? Did you start out when you were straight out the womb, or have you only just picked it up just for us?
Only everything for you guys.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
So I picked up a guitar about 2 weeks ago.
yeah, that's what we thought.
We
Yeah.
actually found Matt at the bus station yelling at a sandwich on the floor, and we just thought, like, we
He
could use
looks
this kind of-
perfect.
we need his energy.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they put mayonnaise on it.
No, we got, yeah. So
yeah, no, I've.
when'd you start?
But real talk. Yeah, I was born with a guitar in my hands, pretty much.
Nice.
Pretty much. I've been playing forever. I was actually just talking about this the other day. Can't remember who it was with, but I really couldn't imagine life without a guitar or some kind of musical background. So, I was actually even trying to remember when I first picked up a guitar to start playing it, and it's like I can't even go back that far. So
Yeah.
it's been that long.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
actually like to not remember when you started playing it means that you literally were brought up around music.
Yeah, it was always a big. Well, it wasn't. That's a lie. It wasn't always a big thing. But one day, so this is how it all started. I know how it started. So get ready. So it's actually,
Hold on to your britches.
no. So what happened was, so my parents are divorced.
Fuck, it went dark real
We
quick.
went straight in with the hard stuff.
How'd you learn guitar? Well, my parents are divorced. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
No, but so my dad is actually from down south.
Right.
So he returned there after my parents got divorced. So I was down there visiting him one day, and my older brother, I always copied his music. That's what you do as the younger brother. And we were watching a live performance of Blink-182, believe it or not, and it was Carousel. And Mark was playing the intro on the bass, and I think my brother said something. I wasn't even in the room, but I think he said, that would be pretty hard to play, right? And my dad, who we know, he's a multi-skilled musician, so he plays guitar, but he's
Cool.
more of a pianist. And he was like, oh, probably not really that hard. Like, but
Yeah.
we weren't musicians at the time, so we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So my dad, this is back when everyone had dial-up internet, by the way. So we had to wait. Yeah, we had to wait.
Someone
for
used the phone and it would like
Yeah, it's
mess
like
up
get off the phone.
Yeah.
Mine still does that.
Yeah.
So we waited for him to load up the tab for it, and he loaded up the tab for What's Mage Again too. And he grabs his acoustic guitar and he starts playing it. just straight away. He just read the music.
Wow.
And then he started playing it straight away. And that just completely blew my mind. I was like, that is like the same thing that I hear from
on
bands.
on the record.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
And so that I just couldn't, that it was just like a just discovered fire or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, like that,
From that,
you know that
click
Elmo
moment.
meme?
when
It's
he's in
got
the
like the
fire.
nuclear
Yeah.
bomb and he's just staring up. That was like me watching my dad play this thing. And I was just like, that's what I'm doing. And that's
very
where it
cool.
started.
I like that story.
Yeah.
And as you say, like having somebody be able to kind of normalize, or say you see these guys playing in bands and you go, oh, they're just superheroes kind of thing, especially when you're younger. And then to see that somebody like your dad, who you know, and like you're just like, whoa, he can play it, and it's like maybe I can, like maybe it's more achievable, and kind of normalizes it a bit. That's sick.
Yeah, it became like a little obsession for me.
Really?
Yeah. Well, so
I could not tell.
no. Well,
Mister, I have 12 guitars.
13 now, actually.
Yeah, 13,
yeah, it's a necessity. No, I sold one actually.
Oh, back to 12.
Yeah. I guess the collection's not big enough now. It became an obsession because I didn't really grow up with a lot of technology. So I had an acoustic guitar, and so that was kind of like my Xbox for a very long time until I bought one. And I was the weird kid that would bring his acoustic guitar to school and I would play. Like I was into sports kind of, because, you know, it's Australia, but like I wasn't that into sports. So I would play my guitar and I didn't really care if people were watching me or play. That some people would come around and they watch because, you know, it's cool, and then they'd move on. But like I didn't really care. Like the world was kind of turned off for me and I was just in my own world playing guitar. And because I didn't have any money, like eventually guitar strings snap. And so it got down to the point where I just had 2 guitar strings,
Oh.
you know, the 5th and the 6th string. So I had to, like, as they would break, I'd transpose the music. And so that would force me to play things a different way. And, you know, and that was it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you sort of like then go through and learn, and you get influences and you take your music and stuff. So when did you start like kind of getting into projects and working on stuff that you wanted to kind of go, all right, it's not just about playing other people's songs or learning the instrument? Like, when did it become, I'm going to start, you know, I want to try and make this a career, or like put some stuff out, join a project,
write your own stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
So it was actually before I picked up a guitar. I would play my dad's piano, and I couldn't really read. So I just played whatever I wanted. And I've always been like kind of free-spirited on whatever instrument that I play. And so that was when I started doing it. I would probably say more seriously, probably a few more years later down the track. So yeah, I started writing music at a very young age. I was still in primary school, like well into primary school. So it probably didn't. And you know, my dad had he had his own little recording set up as well, so I would use that.
Jealous.
Yeah. So, and because his piano was actually it was like the brand new Ducks Nuts Technics piano, so it had all the drum samples, heaps of symphonies, and all that sort of stuff. And so I would just watch him play, and then that's when I understood, you know, well, there's 8 notes, 7 sharps or flats. And if you just play them together, you get a perfect octave. If you move one up or down, then you know you can create the dissonant notes.
Yeah, learning all the relationships between the notes,
between them, yeah,
chords and all that. Yeah.
So that's like how I sort of learnt it on that, and then by feel, and then I would say, and so I did record like 5 songs when I was like in primary school.
Dig them out.
I can't find them, you know, because I had like, you know, I didn't even, it was completely free form. So there's no click. You know, there's a bit of beatboxing in there. There's some vocals and all sorts of things. It was kind of a mix of everything. And then probably when I was in, I want to say junior high school is probably when me and a good friend of mine at the time, we recorded a 7-track in his bedroom, and we would like, even when I went to visit my dad in the school holiday break, I would still record stuff there, and then I'd take some new ideas up. We would work completely independently, and then we would just come together and we would see what we like, what we don't like. So it was probably 10 tracks that we wrote for that. And we scrubbed a couple out, released them as singles, I think.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, what was really cool about that project, I would say, is like how well gelled we were. I was actually talking about this the other day. Like, we could write and record a song in an entire weekend, like just one weekend. Have it done, because we could bounce ideas off each other across the room really, really easily. And we had the same sort of skill at the time, except for he could play drums a lot better than I could. So he ended up doing that.
But like the chemistry was there, eh? And you like, when you get that sort of makes things click and flows a lot quicker, because then you get the ideas out and it's just like, seems like you're on the same page already.
Yeah. Well, we went to school together, so we're around each other all the time. Like, there was no real pressure. There was no like pressure cooker of time that a lot of bands find themselves in. You know, like, oh, we've got this day, we've got to show up at this time, do all those sort of things. When you're in school, it's like, well, you're at school every day, so that we didn't really have, and you don't have outside responsibilities as a high school student.
There's no care, real.
No, it was pretty carefree, so we could do whatever we wanted, and so it was probably as organic as it could possibly get, I think.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And then that leads you obviously into then trying to find different projects and things and stuff. Is there anything like, I guess like one thing I'm keen to learn, because I personally, like, I've been in other bands, but they're bands for big band, jazz band, you know, funk quartets and things like this, where it's not to do with metal. And most of the time in that world, you're playing covers and it's just kind of jamming on stuff. So how, for you, because like I know, obviously chatting to you before, I know you've been in other projects and things like that and worked with other musicians within this kind of like genre. What's some stuff that like you might have taken away in terms of experience, or things that were awesome where you were like, oh, that was wicked, or, you know, that was really tough, but, you know, learning that was actually the key to unlocking something else, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera?
Because I have been in quite a few projects. That's really early on, those sort of things. I was in another project down south that was actually an acoustic project, but if we're keeping it all metal, one of the things, like, what, from all of them, like, do you want me to summarize that?
I don't need, like,
just what's something you've learned from being
just
with
some key ones.
other bands is like the simplistic version of what you're trying to say. Because me and Jordan have had to learn a lot from working with other people and then also working with each other. And then now we've figured out how to, you know, what's the best way of working together. So what's something you could pull away from, like, maybe other projects you've done? Doesn't have to be like a full-pledged band, but, you know, obviously you've been in other bands before, you've worked with other projects. Like, what's something that you've pulled out from that, you reckon?
I reckon, like, probably the two most important things would be, I think for me at least, like, my take from it is, when it comes to like writing, I guess, be completely free form and let the band sort of shape it. Like, write something completely just like whatever, and then see how that fits in. Because I found, like, trying to write for a particular project, like, to try and emulate that, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, if your writing style isn't like, you said before, like, you've always been kind of free form in your ideas and stuff. So you've had to learn that maybe a free form doesn't fit a form that's already been kind of created. So you've just,
if it can't be shaped by the band, well then, and with that, like, if it does, like, it's just an idea. It's not a song. It's not like your whole life's work. So don't be disappointed when they shoot it down too. That's the other side of that. Because I think if you're hiding creative aspects of yourself and you're not really putting your flavor into the band, and you might be surprised. Like, some, you know, you might put something out there and you might think, oh, you know, they'll love this, and then they go, oh, actually, I don't really like it that much. And then vice versa, you might think, oh, they won't like this, but then they're like, oh, why didn't you show me? Like, how, you know, like, we could have done so much with this, but now we've done this instead and whatever.
That's a very good point. Yeah, just being creatively yourself and open and just throwing ideas out there is good. But then also learning that, as I did, and as we've spoken about in this podcast before, I had to give up some of my ideas and the direction that I wanted to go for the greater good of just meeting in the middle with everyone and trying to make it work. So
yeah,
but also like don't be afraid to make a stand on something. And if it's not right, well then don't it can't be you can't be too headstrong with it, I guess. But the other side of that coin is like I've worked with people that have been like completely freeform, and so like there's a lot of room to move. And then there are people like, well, no, we record things this way. Like there was a band or project that I was in where they tabbed everything out.
Yeah, fuck that.
So everything was tabbed.
Fuck that.
Everything, and that was our metronome. And so we could basically hear like a MIDI version of the song, and we would record it based off that, and then you put your feel into it. Like that's what we're capturing. And then there's been other projects where it's just like, well, like you guys record things very differently.
Yeah.
So and that's the openness side of it. Like that's where you learn from different experiences.
Cool.
Sometimes you have to let go of some of the things you've done in the past, and sometimes you might say, "Oh, we did it this way," and then the band might respond positively to that as well.
100%.
All that matters to me is the end result. As the end result's a good song, then good times. Wanted to ask you too, so what after all of that, then what made you want to join another band like ours, like coming into our band, or was it that because I made that post on that thing that I just come up in your newsfeed and you were like, you weren't actually really looking, but then after reading my post, or were you actively like on the page scrolling through and then my post came up, looking for a guitarist? Like, how did you actually come about finding Distorted Views as a band?
So I'm one of those, maybe you could probably relate. I'm one of those people that I can only take so much dosage of social media.
Yeah, same.
So because my newsfeed gets just flooded with crap, I don't really discover things by chance. Very few times. So I was actually on the page looking through it, and I scrolled through a few things, and then yours was actually the most vague out of all the ones that I it was like
looking for a guitar player.
Yeah.
Basically.
Guitarist question?
That's because they're always like, must be between 20 and 25, and you must have a Gibson.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up.
We want to play hillbilly rock, but we also want it to sound like Slipknot. I'm like, well, best of luck.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I saw that, and then obviously your name on Facebook, and I thought like, I was like, oh, this is going to be like some 5'5" Indian guy that wants to sell me some pad thai or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
I don't have anything against 5'5" Indians that want to sell you pad thai.
Yeah, but if you knew what Cameron's profile looked like, it very much resembles.
Pretty much. I don't like Facebook or social media or anything, so I made a random profile with no profile picture with a name that makes no sense. That isn't my name, so no one could find me on there, just so I could use it for memes, essentially. And it'd be in a group chat for the band, so we can like message each other instantly. I
found
my ad up.
you put your ad up. I saw it. I messaged it because I've messaged a few people in the past, and they sort of gave the impression of promising the world, like this is what we're doing, like we've got all of these things. And then you look at like, and this sounds silly, but you look at some of the photos of like some of the, like the production looks really good. Like they've got all this gear, they've got music out, they got this, they got everything, it seems. And then it's just like, oh well, we're trying to put this together, and we'll get to it. Yeah. And so I was like, and that sort of thing, like it was quite relaxed, and I think I reached a sunny disposition in my life where I was just like, no, well, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm not interested in any of those projects. I was kind of choosy. So I saw yours on there, and I don't know why I clicked on it.
Fate.
It was. Yeah. I just clicked
Jordan
on it.
was trying not to say it. He's like, the universe told you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The energy.
Yep.
Yeah, I clicked on it, and then you sent a message back. Like, you were quite quick with your response.
Yeah, I'm that SpongeBob meme that like when he replies
Yeah,
0.1
like,
seconds after, I'm like, how you going?
I was like, hey, it's like whoosh, and I'm like, whoa. It's like either this guy's like happened to be on a phone, he's done a ton of coke, or he actually wants to get something
Yeah.
done. And so I'm like, well, I'm hoping it's the latter. Anyway, you sent me your
Spotty,
your
right?
Spotify,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, because people put a description of what the sound they want, and then you listen to the music, and I'm like, oh well, I don't think so. Too.
Yeah, that's not really what you've said.
And then I don't think you didn't really give a description. You just sort of said, this is the music that we play.
It's very laid back. It's very laid back, and it's just like, look, you can depict it any way you want, but it's sort of, we blend a lot of styles together. So, which like our newer stuff's got a bit more of a metalcore, choruses and stuff, but then it's also the new metal rhythmic stuff. And then there's this, so instead of being like, we are a new metal / metalcore / this / that, plus Korn, Limp Bizkit type vibe, Slipknot, but instead of just doing, I'm just like, here's our music, bro. It's like metal. Fucking listen to it. If you vibe to it, come join.
Yeah, so I did that and I listened to it and I thought, okay,
this is fucking shit.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, nah.
Another one of these.
Another one of these. No, it was actually the exact opposite. I'm like, this is totally not what I was expecting. This was, It wasn't. As you guys know, I'm like, I'm really big into metalcore, but more specifically, the prog metal, progressive metal. And one of the issues, I think, controversial statement here. You ready?
Ooh, there we go.
Here we go. One of the issues with metalcore and prog metal at the moment is that it seems to be like a battle of the bands.
Yeah.
But the problem is that everyone is still copying each other in a progressive platform. And so I'm like, well, and look, there's a ton of talented musicians out there that are doing it. And I think, I don't know, maybe just only certain ones tickle my pickle. So, and because that's a lot of the music that I listen to, when I heard, I think EKO was the first song.
Yeah, it's the first one on our Spotty.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, this is like kind of just, it's like, balls and cock just out there. Just on the table. It's like, here it is.
Full 6 inches in your face.
Exactly. Well, like, we're not gonna pretty this up or anything. It says this is just what it is. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the attitude behind it too, especially in that song.
I think a lot of people that tell me when they listen to our stuff for the first time, they always, it's fucking every time. Even people that message us on our Facebook page, they always talk about production. Not mixing and mastering, the production, the sound effects, the synths, the crashes.
You are very welcome.
I help too.
No,
yeah, all of that production-y, like, when I run like a guitar through a weird VST and it does just a bunch of just random stretching and pitching.
It's coming at it from a producer mindset more so than a
songwriting aspect. Yeah, it's like, how can we make other sounds amplify the riff? So the riff may be a simple riff that's not really that complicated, but it's all of these other rhythmic elements happening underneath it that give it that raw energy. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so I got that vibe. I also got, I kind of wanted a break from the metalcore sort of thing, although I love it, so I'll always go back to it. But I thought, no, I just want to sort of jam out, and I really do like new metal, even though you said, oh, well, we're a blended element. But, the first thing that I got was like, wow, we got like some Linkin Park and Slipknot sort of elements in here.
Static X vibes.
Static X, I sweat Static X, actually.
I told I sound like the runs of Breaking Benjamin. Someone commented on our YouTube, something like that once, and I was like, not really, but thanks. I like that band.
Yeah. If that's what you get from it, like,
that's awesome.
So that was the story of finding Distorted Views. And then since then, there's been like, I don't, in general conversation, talk about my band all the time because there's more to me than that. I like to think. Probably not. But, everyone, anyone that's been interested, like, oh, here's a Spotify. And everyone, like, seems to like it.
That's awesome.
It's like everyone's like, yeah, we're on board with this. And I think, like, in a show setting, like, while everyone's trying to out-metalcore each other, it's going to be the thing that sort of stands out.
I really like that about our stuff. I try to make it as, like, metal, but without just like, oh, I'm predicting that the chorus is coming. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm predicting the breakdown's going to come in. 1, 2, there it is.
One thing
But-
though that
Don't forget the sugar part.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
that's
I
true.
like that though.
one
like
thing that is, I guess, for me, noticeably different about our music now, especially the stuff that's coming out, is the fact that we have our second new member, Zachy B.
Zach.
Hello.
Yes. Oh, I was waiting for you to go,
he is.
yes.
So yeah, Zachy B.
No, we
joining.
agree we can't do that.
Yeah, he's joining us on vocals. So, like, obviously, vocally, you know, Cam, do you want to kind of go into just Zach a bit and why the choice, and then we can go intro Zachy.
All right. So essentially, like what we touched on, like the other potty, just having that production skill level and songwriting skill level where we wanted to be up here, but then not having the vocals just be at a point where I wanted them to be. And instead of waiting 6 months to a year for me to practice and practice and practice and get better and better and better, I thought, oh, you know what? Just because I just had a feeling one day just out of nowhere. I'm like, I'll just take a look. I'll just take a look on the internet. I'll see. I might find someone that, you know, can do this stuff now because I'm a little bit impatient. And plus, I want to play guitar more. Like I said on the other podcast, I sort of fell into vocals. I was never really meant to be a vocalist. I was a guitar player trying to write songs, and then we couldn't find a vocalist, so I just went, oh, screw it, I'll do it. And then I went online, and then I just went on the same, it may have been the same page or another page, just, you know, Brisbane band members wanted or whatever it was, or I think it was hardcore or something like that, or metal wanted. Just started scrolling, and literally straight away, Zach just had some videos up. I think, what were you doing a cover of?
So I had a video of Acid Romance by Alpha Wolf. I think I had Talking Heads by Northland. And then just a lot of random stuff, just trying to get a range of what I can do.
I think you sent that to me when I was at uni.
Yes.
The Talking Heads one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I liked about that was that he had multiple videos up. It wasn't just a post like, hi, looking for a band, I'm a screamer. And it was like, you know, looking for a band,
Put yourself out
here's some
there.
videos. And he had 3 videos, and there were different styles in every video. And I was like, this is sick. Like,
yeah, you sent them to me. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it was morely so. What I was looking for was more so the confidence and the consistency. So I was like, I needed someone that I could just plop in to like the band, just go bang. Here's the lyrics. We've already got the screams written. You just do it better. And Zach just seemed like he fit that perfect. I think I just messaged you on my good old silly account with the stupid name with no profile photo, being like, come to my house.
It's got a good success rate so far.
The funny thing is that
I said, come over.
the message came to me, and I checked the request, I think, like an hour later. And I had the same thing as Matt. I was like, this could be a scammer. This could be
There's an
random
entry fee to join the band.
random thing that I just had no idea. So I went, just whatever, I'll check it. And I just got a good vibe from it.
The universe.
And we just, we had a conversation, and
Don't lie. It was because Cam offered free Wi-Fi.
look, at this point, I'll take any free Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Anything
I've
that's better
seen
than
his
my
internet,
house
bro. It's so bad.
It's quite bad. But yeah, I think literally the next day we met up as well. So it was just quick, sharp. He knew I was interested. I knew he was interested. You know, we looked at each other's stuff for what we could do, and it went from there.
Yeah, pretty much. I always get people in the studio straight away because it's just good for people to see the space and see, you know, not just the gear, not like flexing gear, but just being like, look, we do have gear. We got quite a bit of money that we've invested into this, so you know we're serious. Seeing the social media, seeing the Spotify, seeing that we're keeping the ball rolling and moving, and we're not just like a starter band or a starter pack band. You know what I mean? We're like,
I remember you were excited because you were like, I think I sent you.
I saw you had an X Effects. I was like, yes,
yeah,
because
he knows X Effects,
dude. People that just you're either like I like fucking real amps and real cabs, and I'm down for that too because they're awesome. But someone that knows that they can do both is like a gem. And Matt knows struggling with certain sound guys and people that you've been to the gigs and you've seen like me arguing with the sound. Like, dude, like, and they just can't freaking wrap their damn head around about new amp sim technology. They're just stuck in the 90s. But anyway, so that's good. Yeah, sweet, man. So pretty much that's where we were at. And then I showed you some of the music. What was your first opinion on when I showed you our stuff?
Similar to Matt. So it was I had early Linkin Park Hybrid Theory vibes.
I'm vibing to that. I like that band.
And I grew up with Linkin Park. So
because you said you weren't sure on the rapping, weren't you?
Yeah. So I heard the rapping because I've grown up with just rap everywhere, and whenever I hear rap, I just think of the SoundCloud Aussie rappers.
Yeah, the terrible. Yeah.
But when I gave it a chance, because I listened to it first, I was like, oh, I don't know. Gave it a second try, and I was like, okay, I hear the mix, the balance of heavy, chill, heavy, and it's gonna bring in a larger audience.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna be metalheads. It's gonna be a mix of.
That's the plan. It's the plan to grab genres from EDM to rap to metal to gent to prog to freaking all of it.
Jordan does the EDM. Cam does the rap. I do the scram.
The scram.
The scram. Matt does the.
Yeah. All other sounds at once.
We can confirm that it does.
Yeah, but when you think of it, there's 4 people. 2 people do very opposite genres to metal or different, and then there's 2 people that do.
I think
it's a completely nanged out vibe we got going on.
I think like I can't believe that made it into.
It's in my vocabulary now. You've done it.
You're welcome. No, I think what we've got is like we've got a spread of different like musical genres.
Too,
yeah, and we're all like, I guess, like we're multi. Like it sounds like I'm just inflating our egos here, but like we're all multi-talented at something.
Yeah.
So because one of the things that you mentioned I think it was in Facebook, you were like, oh, we're doing everything in-house. And for anyone that knows when you're starting out, or even if you're, you've been going at it for a while, is that it never gets easier.
Yeah,
it's the same thing over and over again. There's no preset out there. There is no environment that is going to be like the one size fits all thing. And so when you're doing everything in house, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So having people in your circle that can do multiple things and have the time and space, but more importantly, probably the dedication to do it. Because talented is wasted if people don't apply themselves.
Attitudes and stuff, yeah.
That's a good thing.
I think we've got that.
We've all got like different things that we're good at. Like I do the art, logos, Scream. Matt has producing balance as well. And
I would say I'm just a bit of a mad scientist on a guitar, really.
Mad scientist, guitarist.
I think producing's more these two. I try and stay out of the producing.
You produce
thing.
Tones.
I produce tones. Yeah, I can make a preset. Like I can make a good preset. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is that we all have like different things that we're good at that combine into this one project. And it just works well. We're not all flustering each other. We're not making one person do every single task. It all balances out, and we all have our own jobs.
That's it. That's true. Tell us a little bit about, Zachy, how you got into screaming initially, because I just envisage anybody that gets into screaming is like I would just scream to stuff in the car when I was younger and just yell and probably hurt my voice. Is that like how you get into it, just going to a concert and trying to emulate these sounds, or like do you kind of...
Yeah, so my history is I basically only started maybe 2.5 years ago. So I'm very, very fresh.
No, that's great for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it started with, just listening to Luke's music because he was primarily...
And that's your brother, right?
My brother, yes.
For those not...
I think that's one thing we haven't discussed yet is how we know each other. So what people don't realize is...
I don't even know how this happened, but the 2 guys that I picked happen to know each other for a long time.
Very long time.
So you don't tell me the universe does not work in mysterious ways, and that's the 3rd time I've brought up the universe.
I've been telling you.
So
listen to him. I haven't touched it once.
I had shiitake mushrooms and I'm stuck.
So Luke, who's I can't believe he made it to the podcast. Good on him. Is Zach's older brother, and Luke and I went to the same school. We also lived on the same street, and
we also dated the same girl.
Yeah. Well, they're from Tasmania, so they probably have the same.
Hey, all right now.
He's also my older father.
So
We're never getting booked in Tassie. Never.
It's all right. Our three fans, we can fly them over.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so I was the metalhead at a young age. Luke he was kind of into rock, but he wasn't massively into metal, I think. And then that sort of bled into your family. Although your parents they're into like old school metal.
Yeah, Iron Maiden type.
Yeah,
AC/DC. They like a bit of Slipknot.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Dad mentioned it. He likes.
Your mum plays Bring Me the Horizon in the car too.
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon's very.
I got my mother into their newer version of.
Show their old stuff.
Yeah, so
I have.
She's not jamming "Pray for Plagues." Like
she
step us further away. So they're like, "Pray for Plagues," and then 2019, the Earth's like.
Die for you, bro.
COVID-19.
But yeah, essentially how that happened was just inspiration from the music I was shown by my brother, because I basically just grew up with Legion Park. That's all I listened to. Didn't care about anything else. That's all I pretty much based my music taste on.
Good band to choose.
Yeah. But I just didn't listen to music that much.
Yeah.
And then it grew and grew. Then I just started to sing along to it. I think it was Alligator Blood by Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
That got me into just singing it loud.
Great song.
And then I got a sound and I was like, hang on a second.
I got this.
I was like, well, that inspired me to just continue that. I started low, started small, because I somehow just had this idea that you start small and build yourself up. You're not going to damage yourself.
That's
I never really damaged myself. I would strain, but I would never go to the point where I could not speak, or it would hurt to speak.
Yeah.
Anything like that. I was always quite healthy about it. I just had that
good
sense that I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to take it chill. And then it just went to just singing along in the car, and then shouldn't be doing this, but recording myself in the car with the phone. Everyone
was in Mexico, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone
GPS,
does this.
If you're watching,
after you
was
pulled
in Mexico.
over. Yeah, you pulled over nicely and recorded it.
Yeah.
Well, so what's it like been jumping into our project, being that we're quite full steam ahead? We have a very obvious bar that me and Jordan set, and if you don't meet that bar, you will know that you do not meet that bar, as we have had to remove multiple people from the band, including one that was meant to be on this podcast.
We should also mention that. Farewell, Morgan.
Oh yeah, but Morgan is still one of the boys. Me and him still hang out, so he's a top lad. But that wasn't what I was going to say. But I suppose you might as well.
Well, I just realized no one knows.
Yeah.
So
Luke knows. He saw the photo.
Yeah. Well, sadly, sadly, we've had to let Morgan go.
Yeah.
Love
you, Morgan.
Love you,
So, but what has it been like jumping into like our project, being we're your first serious band, right? Like
yes,
because you fucked around with other bands, but then they wouldn't reply.
Yeah, I was in a project band. It was just me and the drummer, and we had 2 songs. There just wasn't much going on with that. It was just me trying to mix, and I don't know how to do that. Very immature, just playing around with it. But it sounded okay because that was my goal, to just get onto a song, essentially. And that was the first step, but it wasn't at that professional level. So when Cameron hit me up, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was just like, holy shit, like this is happening. Like
we're moving.
This is a step up.
Get aboard.
And we've recorded a few songs, getting into the old tracks as well. So it's crazy, it's overwhelming, but it's not in a negative way. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think we're all excited. I think I can speak for everyone here, but we're all excited.
Very exciting.
The new stuff being released was already written before these boys joined. So we sort of just plopped them in like, all right, look, this is it for now. But our next stuff after that's how far ahead I'm thinking. I'm thinking of like the new stuff is going to be really exciting because we're going to be able to write songs from a starting point of knowing the talent that we have that we can use, and we know the direction we can go in. We know we can write more complicated riffs because Matt can 100% play way better, more complicated riffs, make it more interesting, more melodic, more dual guitars because I'm freed up vocally and I can play guitar a lot more than what I did before. So now me and him can have two guitars on stage doing simultaneous riffs, and you can take the front, and then we know that your screams are sick, so we can do pitch scream choruses and all sorts of stuff, guys.
My 30-second time on a stage, I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
I recently
was that Empire Within?
Yeah, so yeah. I recently went on stage with Empire Within. They have this little part on their second song where they play a bit of Shadow Moses,
right?
Just a chorus, and
do they actually Shadow Moses
get sued for copyright?
Like legit, like they actually play it,
yeah.
And Bring the Horizon was like,
wait, that's illegal.
I think they only play it live.
Well, it's a cover band.
Oh, true. Are they a cover band?
No, like cover bands can play stuff, so it's like you're allowed to play stuff live, even if it's a snippet. Like you're allowed to play
it's only
stuff.
like
you write it in
who's securing that?
It's like a 30-second.
They're not going to chase that 50 cents, man.
So, regardless of that, it was a lot of working up. He's asked me to come up on stage a few times, and I was just always like, too nervous, too nervous to.
And now you're like, I have to do this.
I went with a mate, and she was prompting me to go. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. And it got to that part, and she looked at me, and she didn't even see me there. I was already up on stage, and she was like, oh, okay. And I just went hard. Was singing, the typical chorus of Shadow Moses, and it was just exciting. Like, it was a moment. That was another goal.
That's a sweet little glimpse of what's to come.
Yeah,
it's fun,
and
it's
exciting, man. Like, I'm just happy to be here and perform.
Yeah,
and
we're happy to have you.
It's gonna be exciting future.
I think touching off like that, how you had the experience to kind of go up on stage, and then like I know you're speaking. I don't know whether it's the same person or someone different that you're hoping to get some lessons off, and talking with Cam and his experience with having lessons with Brandon, who we had on the podcast.
I love that everyone's doing that too, by the way.
Yeah,
like everyone's just like, on the same page of like trying to get better.
Yeah, always trying to get better and stuff. And that's kind of like, what I'm sort of tying in is having somebody that can be a little bit further along in your path, whatever discipline you're in, having somebody that's a little bit further along, has kind of walked in the footsteps that you're trying to create and kind of been through it. They can help you with that experience and shape that.
I probably should have acknowledged that all of my screaming vocals and time has all just been freehand, like just
doing it yourself.
I never really watched tutorials because I just don't think those tutorials are that great. Yeah. I did learn a few things, but I just don't think they worked for me. Primarily, they're very subjective to how they do it.
Yeah.
So the exciting thing is I'm getting vocal lessons from Tom Barber from Chelsea Grin and Darko.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, cool.
I should be getting vocals with him in a few weeks, and I'm hoping that I'll just learn a lot more than what I have now from a professional that's done it for a long time, as well as getting lessons from Cameron's boy,
Brandon.
So I'm essentially getting two coaches from two different areas of music. Tom Barber is very deathcore.
Yeah. Different perspectives of stuff and
but
techniques.
It might not just be subjected to deathcore. It'd be everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can also learn mic placement and live, and how to make sure you're not cupping the mic, but how to do like not a cup, but like a half cup where it doesn't fuck with the gain for the soundy, but it's also like you're getting that nice clean signal.
That's right.
Exactly right.
And there's millions of from what I've had an experience. If I've had fair few lessons with various different people over my life, and I've watched tutorials. Like for me, it's pretty plain and simple how to get better at your instrument or what you're doing. It's like you put the hours in, you've got to be disciplined in the basics and then work your way up gradually. But what I noticed specifically talking to Cam and going through the process of watching before you met Brandon and then afterwards is like there was always a point where you were like almost second guessing.
It was the doubting.
And just not sure kind of how to go about certain problems and things and mentalities and things. Just being able to check off someone who knows and can go yes or no, you know, you're on the right path or like whatever. That kind of thing I found is much more valuable than fucking play this sticking or, you know, like just like hold the mic like this, not using that reference as you use it. It's a good point. Like all these are valid points, but like that kind of stuff, you could be told heaps of different things by so many different people. It's the like just the mentality and being able to go through these and work through these problems that's more helpful.
Like people are different and like, you know, people like here. So because I'm self-taught guitarist, and one thing that you've probably noticed is Cam, is that the alternate picking, the tremolo picking, all that sort of stuff comes very natural for me. I've always done it, but a lot of people struggle with it, I think, because there's a lot of tutorials and I've read a lot of comments where people are like, oh, I struggle with this. And I'm like, I don't understand. But there will be other places where I'm not as good at on the instrument. And that would be something that I would like to diagnose, for example. I think the same probably exists with, you know, whether you're vocals or drums or whatever. You know, the just do this sticking or just hold the mic this way. It's like, well, people have run into different roadblocks that need to be solved. So it kind of needs like having a real coach to talk about those sort of things kind of tailors your learning curve so that you can actually get over those hurdles rather than learning things the longhand like I did.
It's less like a teacher and it is a mentor because they are one that someone's going to actually help you to and identify where you need to make these changes.
Also
you can identify strengths and weaknesses. They can make the strengths come out and they can bring the weaknesses up.
When you I can't think of the word, like back up with confidence. I can't think of the word right now. But like back like reinstate or reinforce or something like that.
Yeah.
What you're doing correctly as well. It's not just what you're doing wrong. When you're doing something correctly and they tell you that's right, you're doing it right, then you're like, oh, now I know I'm on the right track.
Yeah, and it just affirms it for you. It's like
confirms that confidence, you know, which is sweet, man. So
yeah, it's something like I searched for a long time in my life to find some sort of like, well, I would always be searching, sorry, is probably the better way of saying it, always looking for someone. And like, even in things like sports, I would be going and joining the guys that were better because it's like when you play with guys that are better than you, you get better. And like,
that's how the bar gets raised.
Yeah,
man.
You just surround yourself with these people and the mindset and all of that. So like, I just wanted to touch on that because I thought it was really important. And it could be, you could have a mentor that's like just somebody who doesn't even know that they're mentoring you because you found just somebody like say a YouTuber that just specifically speaks to you in a way that works for you. That kind of works for some people.
I think it's important that they practice what they preach too.
Yes.
Like talking to someone that actually does it.
Walks the walk.
Walks the walk and talks the talk. And then you're like, all right, you know, he or she or whatever is actually out there physically doing the stuff that they're trying to teach. And that reinforces it as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I guess like pretty much that's all I wanted to touch on it. I do have to kind of wrap this up really soon. Apologies.
Gotta play in the coach. He's just hanging out with some certain people that I don't know if I should name or not.
We're not allowed to talk about these things.
But it's really cool who he's hanging out with.
Well, anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, boys, for being on the potty. Welcome as well to the project. And
thank you.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Okay. All right. Bye, Felicia.
See ya.